Far out in the vast blue waters of the Indian Ocean lies one of the most mysterious places on Earth. An island so isolated, so protected, and so dangerous that visiting it is completely forbidden. This place is known as North Sentinel Island, a small, heavily forested island that has remained untouched by the modern world for thousands of years. While satellites have mapped nearly every corner of the Earth, this island continues to guard its secrets. The people who live there, known as the Sentinelese, have rejected all contact with the outside world and fiercely defend their home against anyone who dares to approach. Scientists believe they are among the last uncontacted tribes on Earth, living almost exactly as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. No one knows their language, their customs, or their true population. Some estimates suggest there are only a few dozen people living there, while others believe there may be hundreds hidden beneath the dense jungle canopy. The Indian government has declared the island off-limits, creating a protected exclusion zone around it to prevent visitors from disturbing the tribe or exposing them to diseases against which they have no immunity. Yet despite these restrictions, stories about the Forbidden Island continue to fascinate the world.
The mystery of North Sentinel Island began centuries ago. Ancient sailors occasionally reported seeing smoke rising from the forests or figures watching silently from the beaches. However, every attempt to land was met with hostility. Unlike many isolated tribes that eventually accepted peaceful contact, the Sentinelese consistently refused any interaction. Explorers who approached the shoreline often found themselves under attack by arrows and spears before even stepping onto the sand. In the 19th century, British colonial officer Maurice Fiddle Portman attempted to establish contact. He captured several islanders, hoping to study them, but tragedy quickly followed. The elderly captives became sick from diseases they had never encountered before, and some died. The surviving children were eventually returned to the island, but the incident likely reinforced the tribe's deep distrust of outsiders for generations.
Decades later, anthropologists tried more peaceful approaches. Instead of landing immediately, they left gifts on the beaches, including coconuts, metal tools, and food. Sometimes the Sentinelese accepted these offerings, while at other times they destroyed them or fired arrows at the visitors. One famous expedition in the 1990s appeared hopeful when several islanders cautiously approached boats without showing immediate aggression. Researchers believed that trust might slowly develop. However, the fragile progress never lasted. The tribe soon returned to defending their shores, making it clear they preferred complete isolation over any relationship with the outside world. One of the most remarkable events involving North Sentinel Island occurred in 2004 after the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami. The massive earthquake generated waves that destroyed coastlines across several countries, killing hundreds of thousands of people. Governments feared that the tiny Sentinelese tribe had been wiped out by the disaster. Helicopters were sent to check for survivors, but as one aircraft hovered above the island, an extraordinary scene unfolded. A tribesman emerged from the forest carrying a bow and fired arrows toward the helicopter, signaling that the islanders had survived and wanted the aircraft to leave immediately. The images astonished the world. Somehow, despite one of history's deadliest natural disasters, the Sentinelese had endured. Just 2 years later, another tragic incident reminded everyone why the island remained forbidden. In 2006, 2 fishermen accidentally drifted too close to North Sentinel Island while sleeping in their boat. Their anchor failed during the night, allowing the current to carry them toward the forbidden shore. When authorities later searched for them, they discovered that both men had been killed by the islanders. Rescue helicopters attempting to recover the bodies were forced to retreat after arrows were fired from below. The remains were never recovered, further cementing the island's reputation as one of the most inaccessible places on Earth. Perhaps the most widely reported incident happened in 2018, when an American missionary named John Allen Shaw secretly traveled to the island. Believing it was his mission to introduce Christianity to the Sentinelese, he paid local fishermen to take him near the island despite strict laws prohibiting such visits. Chau attempted several landings, leaving gifts and trying to communicate with the tribe. According to the fishermen who waited offshore, the Sentinelese responded with hostility. During his final attempt, he was struck by arrows and killed on the beach. Authorities chose not to recover his body, recognizing that any attempt to do so would place both officials and the tribe at great risk. His death reignited worldwide debates about respecting isolated cultures and the ethics of making contact with uncontacted peoples.
One fascinating question concerns their ancestry. Genetic studies suggest that the ancestors of the Sentinelese may have migrated from Africa tens of thousands of years ago during the earliest human migrations across Asia. Over countless generations, they became completely isolated from the outside world. This isolation has preserved a way of life that may resemble humanity's distant past more closely than almost anywhere else on Earth. At the same time, it has left them highly vulnerable to modern diseases. Even a simple cold carried by a visitor could spread rapidly through their small population, potentially causing devastating consequences.
Modern technology has transformed nearly every corner of the planet, yet North Sentinel Island remains untouched. There are no roads, no electricity, no internet, no mobile phones, and no permanent buildings visible from the air. The Sentinelese have shown no interest in adopting outside technologies beyond occasionally using pieces of metal recovered from shipwrecks, which they reshape into tools and weapons. This selective use of materials demonstrates remarkable ingenuity while preserving their independence. Many people wonder why governments did not simply force contact with the tribe. The answer lies in both ethics and survival. History has repeatedly shown that isolated indigenous communities often suffer catastrophic losses after first contact due to infectious diseases, cultural disruption, and exploitation. Around the world, countless native civilizations declined dramatically after encountering outsiders. By protecting North Sentinel Island from tourism, researchers, and missionaries, authorities hope to allow the Sentinelese to determine their own future without outside interference. The island itself adds to the mystery. Dense tropical forests cover nearly every part of its land, making exploration nearly impossible, even if access were allowed. Coral reefs surrounding the island act as natural barriers, preventing large boats from reaching the beaches. These reefs, combined with the vigilance of the Sentinelese, have protected the island for centuries. Satellite images reveal only narrow strips of white sand separating the thick green jungle from the turquoise sea, giving little clue to what lies hidden beneath the trees.
Legends and rumors have naturally emerged over the years. Some claim the island hides ancient secrets or lost civilizations, while others imagine hidden treasures buried beneath the forest. However, there is no credible evidence supporting these stories. The real mystery is not buried gold or forgotten temples, but the remarkable existence of a community that has successfully resisted globalization for thousands of years. In a world where nearly every culture has become interconnected, the Sentinelese remain determined to preserve their independence. Scientists continue to study North Sentinel Island from a respectful distance, using satellite imagery and environmental research rather than direct contact. Their goal is no longer to meet the tribe, but to understand how best to protect them. Conservationists argue that preserving both the island and its inhabitants represents one of humanity's greatest responsibilities. Rather than viewing the Sentinelese as relics of the past, many experts see them as a living reminder that different ways of life deserve respect and protection. As the sun sets over the Indian Ocean, North Sentinel Island remains hidden beneath its blanket of ancient forest, guarded by coral reefs and determined people who have chosen isolation over modern civilization. While curiosity about the island will likely never disappear, the greatest mystery may be the one that remains unsolved forever. What stories are passed from one generation to the next? What traditions have survived unchanged for thousands of years? What songs, beliefs, and knowledge exist beyond the reach of the outside world? These questions may never be answered, and perhaps they should not be. In an age where almost every place on Earth has been explored, photographed, and shared online, North Sentinel Island stands as a rare reminder that some mysteries deserve to remain mysteries. It is not simply the island where humans are never allowed to go. It is a symbol of the importance of respecting cultures that have chosen their own path, protecting vulnerable communities from harm, and accepting that not every secret on Earth needs to be uncovered.